Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, everybody, I should say. We're coming from, I'm up in Boston for the Patriots home opener this weekend, and I'm hoping to have a special guest with me, one of the core six or core five, we should say now. He's working on some technology issues. But let's get right into the week two is behind us and some of the wrap up. I have some administrative questions to deal with. First and foremost, the league apologizes for the app related issues with the scoring early in week two. We reached out to the NFL Network, we reached out to ESPN, and we had the issue rectified. So that should be behind us. We shouldn't see delays in the apps or the scoring or the issues. And yes, people, you can trust the numbers that you're seeing on your app, on your phones, or on your iPads. So you should be fine there. I want to get into a couple things that are really bothering me, and then we'll get into some of the head-to-heads. We'll get into Matty's discussions and his picks from week two and see how he did. But first and foremost, the NFL Network I have a problem with. I've reached out to them. They've gotten back to me. Real big problem with NFL Network scheduling, let's say. They don't talk football. They have the food court, they're food testing, they have kids running plays without even hitting each other. It makes no sense. They're outside. I know it's San Diego, but guys, get in the booth. We need Michael Irvin back on the booth, and we need to start picking some games and talking about some football. I don't want interviews. I don't want one-on-one conversations. I certainly don't want kids running around on a turf field, not touching anybody, running plays that make no sense, like it's flag football for sixth graders. I don't like that, and I don't like the food tasting. So I'm not sure what's going on at the NFL Network. Again, we have reached out to them. We've given our concerns, and I think they've been heard. So we'll see if there's any changes to the format for the NFL Network on Sundays. Sunday morning football should be all about football and not all this other noise that they have going on. The other thing that is absolutely, I am beside myself. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh,
There he is.
hey.
One of the core six, core five, if you will, since Jack has been eliminated from the league. Johnny Kroll is not in studio. John is also up in New England for the Patriots home opener this week. Actually, he's up in Maine, I think. But John, welcome to the show. I was just going over some things, John, and I'll give you some quick touch points. I was talking briefly about some of the app issues with the scoring and the timing of the scores and the points. I've reached out to ESPN and the NFL Network. They've been resolved. We shouldn't run into those app issues. I don't know if you had those app issues. I know you're remote most of the time, but did you also have delays in the scoring system, or how was it for you on your side?
Uh, yeah, I didn't hear anything about it. I get most of my
Oh,
league news about 3 or 4 hours late in our group chat.
okay. Well, then there you go. You're fine. Then not an issue for you, but on the East Coast, down by the city, we had some app issues with delays, the points not being applied properly or in a timely fashion. But again, we reached out to ESPN, we reached out to the NFL Network, and I think they're behind us. I also brought up John, and you tell me what you think as a one of the, I would say, one of the elite owners in this league. I know the championship has avoided you, John, but I think you're right on the cusp, especially with this year's team. But we might have lost John for a second. We have some
All right.
tech areas having some technical issues. I know John's remote. He's traveling with the team this week. But John, I also brought up some of my concerns about the NFL Network. I talked to the NFL Network about I don't know their formatting. They're sitting with kids running around playing, running plays. It makes no sense to me. They're having food courts and they're not talking about football. So I reached out to the NFL Network. I've asked them to fix some of their programming. And I don't know if you had any thoughts related to how their programs are operating over these last few years. I'm not happy with it. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, everything you just said had me completely lost. I can't lie to you. I don't know
Do you
anything
watch
about
the
the
NFL Network on a
cafeteria
Sunday morning, John?
programs or anything like that. I'm very confused
Okay,
with
well,
that. Um,
be that as it may, John. The other issue I brought up, and I was just about to get into when you joined the podcast, was I am absolutely infuriated with the NFL Red Zone and their commercials. right? So I don't know if you watch the NFL Red Zone, John. I know you're a avid sportsman and you're out all weekend. But did you get a chance to see some of the commercials that they had on the NFL Red Zone?
I have not.
Okay. Do you watch football on the weekends?
I going.
I guess he's not
I think
watching,
you see
folks.
my smile. I'm very
Yep,
excited to be here. Very happy to be here. Love the show.
we're all happy to have you, John. You're a Core
I
Six
can't
owner, so
lie. Um, I remember seeing, like I just alluded to. I get most of my news about 3 or 4 hours behind in our group chat. I remember I saw
okay.
you and Michael texting about it, and I don't know if it was
Yep.
resolved or not. So that's true. Red Zone now has commercials.
It's not. It's like a split screen, and they do like an ESPN bet or a
Oh,
DraftKings bet. Which, by the way, thank a shout out to our sponsor, DraftKings. If you're gonna bet large. You can win large. You can't bet. You can't win a lot if you don't bet a lot. DraftKings. So shout out to our sponsor. But I don't like the idea of NFL Network or Red Zone having commercials, and they're starting to get into commercials. It's similar to SiriusXM where SiriusXM never had commercials. You pay for the satellite radio, but now,
really?
15 years later, there's commercials on every channel. So I see that's where it's going, right? It's revenue. I get it. It's a business. I get it. But I'm not happy with it. And again, I've
Hmm.
reached out to the NFL Network. I've reached out to Paramount and Disney and ABC and ESPN because they all own the same thing now. So we'll keep you posted on that if I can keep those commercials out of Red Zone. I'm certainly trying for the NFL fans out there that watch the Red Zone. I guess you don't watch the Red Zone, but for the people that do and love it for fantasy football, it's a
Right.
problem with these commercials and these split screens. So
Well,
that's kind of what I was covering, John, before you joined. But I want to jump right into it. A couple things. Last week, some trades came up. I don't know if you've checked the app, but Andy and I think it was Andy and I. Was it Andy and I, or was it? Let me just take a look. Who was the trade with? I think it was Andrew.
yeah. You.
Yeah, Andy. So I got DK Metcalf and Dak Prescott, and Andy got Trevor Lawrence and Lad McConkey. And if you look at the numbers, it basically was a wash of a trade, right? There weren't both players for both sides did okay, but about the same amount of points. So it was a big uproar at the time, and people said that I got taken advantage of. And it turns out I don't think it was all that much. We don't need to spend a lot of time, but I did want to go through some of the moves that you've made, John. Um, usually, and John, I don't mean this in a confrontational way, but usually you're an owner that sits on the sideline, and then makes a move later in the year after they're 2-4,
Mm,
or it's irrelevant, or you do things like that. You don't seem to be as engaged as maybe some of the owners, but I see you making moves adding Cedric Tillman. I didn't even know you knew who Cedric Tillman was. The only thing I would say is
I
the
don't.
fact that you dropped Russell Wilson and then he puts up a 60 bomb is
Yeah.
interesting. And then you added Trey Benson. I didn't even know you knew who Trey Benson was, and dropped Rashid White. So I see that you're making moves. And then
Yeah.
also you had a trade with, in this trade, John, I don't,
No, I didn't trade with anybody.
oh, this is Maddie and Mikey. So I
I've been.
apologize.
I've
So you
my
haven't made
inbox
any
has
trades yet.
been my. I mean, a 2-0 start. My team looks great, and
We're gonna get into the to
people
this
have
to
been
the
ringing me up a lot. I
Yep.
won't name
I'm
names,
sure
but
they have.
Mikey and
I'm sure they
Andrew
have.
and a few others.
Yep. And we're gonna get into your start and the rest of the
Okay.
league start, and I'm gonna get into also prior to week two, Maddie had given us some predictions of the
Mm,
matchups, and I'm going to get into that and give you his record, and maybe I'll let you do week three predictions and matchups. But let's go back to league activity. Mikey and Maddie, I think both are panicking. Mikey's at 0 and
yeah.
2. It's the first time Mikey's ever started 0 and 2. The Goats at 1 and 1. He criticized Christian relentlessly as being an overrated owner. Christian took him to the woodshed and beat him up pretty bad this week to drop Maddie to 1 and 1. But so Mikey and Maddie, and I do watch as commissioner to make sure that, because they tend to make some trades that are a little suspect. And I'm going to watch their daddy to make sure their daddy doesn't make suspect trades with them to help them out. But Cam Ward and Bucky Irving. So Mikey gets Cam Ward and Bucky Irving, and Maddie gets Trayvon Henderson, Justin Fields and AJ Brown. Any thoughts on that, John? Any comments on that?
Can you repeat the names?
Sure, John. I'll repeat the names. Mikey gets Cam Ward and Bucky Irvin. Cam Ward is a joke, right? Listen, he's a rookie
He's
quarterback. He's
he's a
learning the league, but he's a joke.
hmm.
He's irrelevant. He's on probably on waivers in 90% of the leagues out there.
Who
Bucky
Mikey
Irving is
got in?
good, and Mikey got Bucky Irvin and Cam Ward,
Yeah.
and Matty got Trayvon Henderson, who's a joke. Justin Fields, who has a concussion, could be out 3 to 4 weeks, and AJ Brown, who's irrelevant.
Wow.
So I don't know what's going on there, but something seems to be going on with those two, and that
Well,
was the trade that they just announced earlier today, and it was approved by the league today.
nice. Well, they have a long history of. I mean, I would say they have a long history. You know, their GMs, their front office gets along great. If there's an issue with anything,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're calling each other first. Let's just say
But
that.
you think you can trust them and they're not colluding? You think
Well,
that's
I
possible?
forget what year it was. It might have been the year that I lost to Mikey in the championship,
Mm-hmm.
but he, for lack of a better word, bent over his little brother and got Jalen
Oh,
Hurts. And
yeah.
then I
See,
lost in
well,
the title. Mikey's team was unbeatable. I beat him twice.
yep,
Couldn't do
yep,
it a third time. Lost in the
yep.
finals.
And that's
So,
why we had the that's also why we had to change commissioners, Sean. Let's be honest. So there's oversight
well, I
over
mean,
some of these trades.
there's nothing wrong with people trading a lot. I mean, Mikey offered me AJ Brown. I forget who else was involved with that deal. But those
Yep.
two, you know, they might trade 3 out of the 4 guys that they just traded for again in 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of turnover in those teams, but I mean they have the bling, they have the repertoire, they have the materials, they have the
Mm-hmm.
funds, they have the
Yep.
backing of the owners to
Yep.
go all out and make any type of deal that they see fit. You know,
Yep.
they're very active in that sense, and that's
I,
something I can't really relate to.
yep. I will tell you that the league is watching the transactions that they have and closely watching in case there's any collusion between Mikey, Maddie, and their daddy, because that's happened in the past. And just to your
Well,
point, might have
no,
cost you a
definitely.
championship. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it did, and you could argue earlier years it could have cost me or Andrew or Jack or Pat even
Yep. Yep.
multiple championships because it
Yep.
seemed. I'm trying to find an analogy, but it's just like,
Suspect. It seems suspect. Yeah.
yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
suspect. And I just wanted to bring up: is it okay if I bring? Because it's been 4 weeks on the podcast. I've been watching every
Yep.
episode. I
Yep.
just want to bring up the preset 2017 debate as a core member. I know.
Sure.
I think
Yeah.
I'm the
Please.
last. Besides Pat, I'm the last one to get on here. I'm truly
Yep.
blessed for this opportunity. But I don't. I mean, I voted to keep the records of pre 2017,
Mm-hmm.
mind
Mm-hmm.
you, because there would be no league without this. I also, um, it's true that Uncle Gary would help Mikey, Maddie, um,
Mm-hmm.
in all those years, and Maddie won multiple championships because of Uncle Gary. But in the last 2 years, I had my buddy Luke Valentino help me draft. It was Jonathan Taylor's rookie year. He told me to draft Jonathan Taylor. Last year, I mean, this past year, past round 12, past round 6, I was asking Maddie for names. And,
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate you having me on, and I hope this doesn't tarnish this relationship because I would love to come back. But I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
give a quote that you said to non-league member Mark Howland in maybe round 4 or 5.
Well,
Well,
this
am
year's
I allowed to
draft.
do
You're
that?
talking about this year's draft. Yep.
I'm talking about this year's draft. You
Mm-hmm.
said to Mark, and I quote, "Get me a name now." End quote.
Okay. So listen. Let me clear the air here, because that's come up before.
So the point I'm trying,
A, it doesn't
what I'm trying
sound
to
like
make.
me. B, we had a party to go to, and I couldn't stay because mommy was going to yell at me, so I had to get out of the
Well,
draft.
that
So I needed. But listen, Mark is not an owner. Mark is
no, but
simply a pedestrian at the
well, Uncle
draft.
Gary wasn't an owner.
Yeah,
So,
well, he is now. He is
and
now, pal.
no, I
He
know.
is
I'm
now.
just saying. But
But
to go back on that, I want to say that this year's draft was calamitous.
in what regard?
The preparation, the way it was rushed past round 8, everything about it. I think it was forced, and I was happy to be there. I drafted a great team. I'm 2-0.
Yeah,
We
you
don't have to
did.
get in that because we're approaching week 3. I feel like I might have
Yep.
missed my chance to talk about a lot of the early season murmurings, but
No, that's fine.
now is my time.
Yep.
Um, so the draft, I definitely had some problems with, and I know that the Players Association recently formed, headed by Patrick Liam Conley Jr.
Yep.
Um, and I am the custodian of the Hall of Records for the Players Association.
Yep.
We are looking into that draft and if it was in the best interest of the players, and so that
Yeah.
that that foundation, or that organization, excuse me, has been started. So we're going to be
Yep.
working a lot
Yep.
harder in the coming
Yep.
years, and I assure you, Pat has assured me multiple times. We chat maybe 5 or 6
Yep.
times a day about the league. Um,
Yep.
we're gonna make sure that
Yeah.
doesn't happen again.
Yep. And I hear you. So we were a bit rushed. We had the party at the same day as the draft. It's tough to coordinate everyone's schedule and calendars now that people live all over the country. So it was difficult. I couldn't have the proper spread for all the owners, right? It's a big day. It's a special day, so we couldn't have the food spread. We had some drinks, I know that, but it wasn't the event that I had hoped it would be for my first year as commissioner. I will tell you, however, if you're going to have people over and you're going to have a spread, there's nothing better than crispy round Tostitos. So
Yeah,
a little queso dip, little salsa. Shout out to our sponsor, Tostitos. But you're
yeah.
right, John. The draft was a bit of a calamity. I apologize, but scheduling conflicts. We all had to be somewhere at a set time. But I can assure you, as commissioner, that won't happen again.
Okay,
Let's put
understood.
that to bed, John. I'm glad you got
Yeah.
to be heard and express your issues. And I don't have I don't have an argument against it. The only thing I would say is that Mark Rowling had no impact on who was picked from my team, and that's evident by the
Well,
success of my draft. Right. So
well, I
let's
mean,
go to yeah. What's
I,
that?
the quote speaks for itself. But
Well, that's
I
hearsay,
say it
John,
to
is what that
to
is.
me.
It's
I was
hearsay.
also asking Mark for names, so I'm I'm clear as the Caribbean
It's
Sea.
okay.
We're all asking
Yep.
each other. I'm asking
Yep.
Maddie. I
Yep.
drafted that rookie. Nobody thought I could. I picked up those two guys. I don't even remember their names.
What
I just
rookie? What
Egbuka,
rookie? Oh, you didn't play him this week,
receiver.
did you?
No, I did. He did okay. He
Yeah.
did worse this week than last week, but that's okay. I mean, no one expected me to draft a guy like that, and nobody
No,
expected me to pick up the two
no.
guys that I did, which I don't remember who they were, but I saw that Eckler got hurt, and I think I was like, oh, maybe I need another running back. I just picked up the
Yep.
two guys that were at the top of the list, because the
So
app does a lot of
let's
work for
yep.
you. To be honest, the
Yeah.
app has a lot of
S-
hearsay and not knowledge
Yeah. Yep.
and spin and all sorts of things. So I
Yep.
pretty much pick up
Yep.
the highest ranking guy if I need a
So
player.
let's go through your 2-0 start, which is impressive.
Thank you.
And who else do we have? Pat at 2-0, which is crazy.
It's not
We
though.
have
It's not.
well, Pat has started
You
out hot in the past.
yes.
Um, Ryan might be one of the best teams that's ever been put together in a fantasy football season. If he avoids injury, put it this way, Ryan had 381 points and Derrick Henry had 6 points. I mean,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
the week before he played, he had 400 and something points, right? So
Right.
he's averaging probably close to 400 points in the first 2 weeks, which is
I,
insane. And if you
I
want
mean,
to
I'm
look at
at
the opposite of that, Uncle Gary's averaging about 200 points for the first two
yeah,
weeks,
yeah.
right?
I mean,
So, but I would say Ryan's team is dangerous. It's packed. But let's go to your team at 2-0, the other 2-0 team. Pat's team is good, but he played Mikey, and Mikey's team is not good.
You
Mikey's at
can't
0-2,
trust
like I
Pat
mentioned.
McAfee 5, unfortunately.
Exactly, right.
You
So if
can't
people
trust him
start to
after
get
week
hurt,
5.
right? And but I will say Pat's 2-0 with Kittle going on the IR, even though he didn't
Yeah.
put him in the IR slot. But he did make the move and did pick up the tight end, so he is engaged so far. But 3-14 is a good week. But Mikey's just awful at 0-2. Mikey's team has. I know he's making a lot of trades because he's panicking. He doesn't even have a lot of injuries. It's just a bad team. He just drafted a
Mhm.
bad team, and again, I'll blame Rowe on that. I know Mikey doesn't want to hear it, but the fact that he got engaged, the time that he got engaged, it's clearly impacting his decision making. But John, let's go back to your team at 2-0. I mean, it's a solid team. Amon St. Brown had 88 this week. Drake London didn't even have a good week. Kelsey was fine. James Conner didn't play that well. Um, but your bench is okay, I guess. It might be able to carry you in a bye week. But tell us a little bit about your team. Tell me what you're excited about, what you're worried about. I mean, Josh Allen only had 30. John, you had 318 points.
Right.
Um,
So that's I'm really excited about that. I mean, having Josh Allen, I know for the past 4 or 5 years he's been dying to get off Mike's team. I just,
yep.
it's not that he wasn't successful. It's just sometimes they need a
Uh,
change of scenery, and I know he's very happy to be a nipple.
yep.
And he's shown that.
Well,
Um,
John, let me. I don't mean to interrupt you. Let's go back to what you just said. Now, you might have one of the most well-known league names in maybe the country, maybe the
yeah.
world, and the country's watching. So tell us a little bit about the creation of the nipples. Where did it
Right.
come from? What made you stick to it? And I don't think you've changed your name since you became the nipples. And when did you become the nipples? So tell us a little bit about
Well, I
your
really
team history.
actually, it depends on when they adopted Nelly.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not
And
sure the
for
year.
the world, John, for the country, who's Nelly?
Right,
What's
right.
Nelly?
So Michael and Matthew and the Gary Crawl family have adopted a beautiful, um,
It's not a beautiful
loving
dog.
dog named Nelly, and she was a working dog in terms of births and breeding.
Mm. Hmm.
She really was taking it for years and just popping them
Yep.
out. So
Wow.
that
Taking it. She was taking it for years.
that has a lot of stress on the body, and you got to feed those babies. So she had, when they adopted her, she had 8 very large nipples that were just beautiful,
Now is
fun to
eight
play
is
with.
eight is eight the actual number that female dogs, number of nipples they should have, or is that something that Nelly was born with that makes Nelly a special uh, dog breed? I don't know how many nipples dogs have, but I
I
remember
want to
seeing
say
the
8.
nipples and it was disturbing. And I guess
See,
it
I
had the
had the
same effect on you.
no, it had the exact opposite effect on me. They were,
Hmm.
she was such a loving dog. She was so caring, so sweet, so full of life, even though all she had been through, all the life that she had created.
Mm.
And the nipples have gone through various stages. Sometimes they're larger, sometimes they're smaller. Maybe that can correlate with the seasons or how she's feeling.
Oh God.
So
Okay.
with the
It's
iconic
so,
nature of Nellie and her nipples, whatever year, maybe it was the year after they had adopted her, I decided to make my team name Nellie's Nipples. And I have changed it during the year for,
but
in
just
terms of like,
nipples, right?
well, to just Nipples, Nellie's Nipples Forever. The app, I
Got
was
it.
hoping to get on the podcast and maybe see if you could reach out to the app, because as you can see on Nipples, I have a 1 as the I in Nipples because it's a banned word.
Oh, got
Um,
it. Got
so
it.
I was
Yeah.
hoping you could reach out to them to see if that can be,
I'll
I'm
see
pretty
what
much
I could do.
grandfathered in to say
Yeah.
Nipples. But
I'll
I've had
see what
other
I could
team
do.
names in terms of like the players and whatnot, but it's always Nellie's Nipples.
Nellie's nipples. And let's go back for a second, John. How many championships have you been in?
I want to
I
say
know you
2.
lost one, too. Yeah. And who'd you lose
And
to?
2 in the last, I want to say 5 years. I think I lost
Wow.
to Maddie. I really, this is the time to say I'm really against Thursday night football
Okay.
because I picked up Leonard Fournette
Mm.
and he had 35 points on Thursday night. And when by the
What
time I
year is
checked my
this you're
lineup,
talking about?
I forget when I lost to Maddie. I think it was 2021, maybe I don't know.
Okay.
The same year Chili Davis
Oh,
had 85 in the semifinals, I accidentally played him in a snowstorm because Leonard Fournette had played on Thursday night, had 35 points, but
yep,
I didn't check my lineup in time.
yep.
If I play Leonard Fournette on Thursday night, I have a ring,
You're
and I'm
you're a
the
champion. Yeah.
third greatest owner of all time.
Well, I don't think you blame Thursday Night Football. I think you blame
I
yourself
no,
for not looking at the.
I
Yeah,
do blame Thursday Night Football. Then the last title, I think it was 2 years ago, or maybe three
yeah,
now. I lost to Mikey's unstoppable team, but
yeah.
I
He was.
beat him
Yeah,
twice.
yeah,
I was the only person. No, I beat him once in the regular
yeah.
season by like point 0.3 points,
Yep.
and then we met again in the finals, and he beat me. But I think I also played Raheem Mostert, and he was
Oh,
injured. But I would have lost anyway, even if I played the backup
yeah.
guy. I think I
Okay.
forget who I had. It was the guy in the Texans. He was good.
All right. So 0-2 in the championship. You've
So
never
0-2
won a
in the
belt,
championship.
but but
I've reached a
this
lot of
year's team is.
semifinals as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And I want to go back real quick just to talk about a little bit about some of the injuries we're seeing. Again, I don't think your team has really been bitten yet by the injury bug. But if you look at Joe Burrow's out, maybe for the season with the toe surgery.
Yeah,
JJ McCarthy is now out for something like 4 weeks with a shoulder and a concussion, or an ankle and a concussion, or something like that.
I'm not sure who that
Jaden
is.
Daniels, Jaden Daniels now is going to be out maybe a couple weeks. And Kittle could be out for an extended period of time. So we're seeing some
Right.
really big players, first round picks, not JJ McCarthy, but the other players, first round picks that potentially could be out for an extended period of time and really impacting some of the owners. So I don't know if you had a comment on that or if you had any thoughts about
Um,
that. But again, you've avoided it so far.
right. I mean, from me, the guy setting the lineup, to the guys in the training room giving out massages, everybody matters a lot, and that
Yeah.
back of house staff is really important in terms of morale, getting people taped
Yep.
up, um,
Chemistry.
and maybe not sort of focusing on the laptop says he should only play 3 quarters. It's really all about player feel, and
Yep.
player well being. And speaking of well
Yep.
being, I always feel better after a biggie bag. So I just want to plug real quick Wendy's $5 biggie bag, still out there
Great
available.
sponsor. Great
So
sponsor. Thank you, John.
longtime
I
sponsor of the Nipples.
Yep. Wendy's, hot and juicy.
Yeah,
Hot and
correct.
juicy.
But for injuries, I mean, it's really just it goes down to one of the greatest songs ever written. It's really all down to the luck of the draw. Um,
That's
you
right.
know, Joe Burrow hurt
That's
his
right.
toe. You know,
Well, he
that's
snapped his toe.
who.
He's got torn ligaments
Well,
in
I
his
mean,
toe.
that's turf toe, pretty much, for
Yeah,
lack of
but
a
the
better word.
ligaments are torn. He snapped his toe, John. It's a severe injury,
Yeah, but it's
and it's
turf
a
toe,
surgery.
so he's out with
Yep.
turf toe for months.
Yep.
I don't know what happened to Kittle. I don't know what happened to those other
Kittle, I
guys,
think, is a
but I mean, it's
hamstring
NFL
or
football, man.
hamstring, and yeah.
It's
Let me go. Yeah. Let
football's
me
not
go
really one of
back.
the games. Oh,
Go ahead.
excuse me, sorry. Well, I was
Go
just going
ahead.
to say a lot of sports around the world are there's a lot of even players unions talking about strikes with the amount of games that they are playing. I don't think the NFL is like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, they did add another week and didn't add another bye week, so that's definitely
Yep.
a talking point. Is just, I mean, athletes
Well,
are asked a lot in terms of traveling and playing a game every week.
well,
Um,
John,
so yeah,
if you, I know you don't watch a lot of football, but if you watch some of the interviews with the commissioner of the NFL, they talk about having the Super Bowl near President's Day, so it could be a national holiday the next Monday after Super Bowl Sunday. And he's saying, hey, if we throw another week of football in there and another game, then we could do it. So I don't know if I don't know if they even care, honestly, about some of these injuries. It doesn't seem to me that they do. But anyway, I don't want to get caught up in some of the league politics. I'm sure I'll be dragged into those meetings when they happen. But
Hmm.
John, I want to take a step back to week two. One last comment about week two, or maybe one or two last comments. I had Maddie on last week to do predictions. And what I'm finding, and you tell me what you think through these podcasts, is that once uh, Maddie was considered the shining owner, the always wins championships, understands the game maybe better than anybody, understands chemistry of the team. I want to give you some insight into Maddie's picks last week, right?
Sure.
So I'll start with David versus
I know.
Andrew, right?
Hmm.
Maddie picked David. David lost by 40 points. You versus UG. He picked
That
UG.
was embarrassing. That
UG
was
lost by
embarrassing.
100, right?
Lost a lot of credibility on that one.
Pat versus Mikey. He picked Mikey. Mikey lost by 20, right?
Right.
Christian versus Maddie. Obviously, Maddie picked himself. He lost by 80. Right? No, I'm
Oh,
sorry. He lost by 30. Right?
sorry. Just
And then Ryan versus me. I think he was being nice, being on my show. He picks Uncle Dave, but I lost by 90 points to Ryan's team. Ryan's team is ridiculous. I expected to be 1-1 after 2 weeks, and I am 1-1. My point is, maybe Maddie is not this savant who understands the game better than all of us. Maybe he's just a regular guy who happened to get lucky and who happened to use his daddy's knowledge of football to better his own reputation. I'm going to leave it there, John. I don't need you to comment unless you feel you have to. But Maddie's record going into week 3 with only 1 week of picks is 0-5. He's
right.
0 and
So I
5.
just a quick comment on that. I mean, pundits are pundits for a reason, you know. He
0 and 5,
sometimes
John.
they're wrong.
You got to get
He's
one of
more of
them
like a
right.
weatherman, but I think a lot of times you have, you know, he picked Mikey, right, and Mikey lost.
Well, he picks his daddy, he picks himself, and he
He
picks
picks
Mikey every
Mikey and he
week.
picks his
Yep,
daddy
I know. I know.
because he loves them and that's
Because he's
sweet and all.
afraid. He's
But
afraid.
Uncle Gary's not going to win until
He
he
might not
plays
win again
Pat
this
in
year.
week 7 or something like that when
Yep.
Pat's checked out.
I don't even think he'll beat Pat. His team is so bad.
I mean, he has no chance of scoring over 350. And I texted
Not even, no.
in the chat. I told him to suck it, and he said, I'm gonna destroy you in the rematch." And you know that was
No.
when I listen. You know, I'm a listener of the podcast. I was listening
Yeah,
back
of course.
to the predictions today, actually, on my way to work,
Mm-hmm.
and I was waiting, you know, to hear what Maddie had said about my matchup with Uncle Gary, which obviously had already unfolded. And he said,
Yep.
I got Uncle Gary on this one, and that you know, I can't lie to you. I turned off the station.
Yeah, it's unbearable.
It,
But I will tell you, John, if you're tired, if you're fatigued, if you need a snack, and maybe you don't want to have a Snickers or a Three Musketeer or a Reese's peanut butter cup, dark chocolate's one of the most healthy snacks you can have. So this
mm,
sponsor is Bouchard's Dark Chocolate. Ooh, it's so good, John. One of my
mhm.
favorite snacks, and it's healthy. And the only thing I would say is eating it this late at night might be a problem, but it is what it is, John. We're traveling.
Well said.
And I needed a snack to keep me going. So, John, let's
Right.
jump into 0-2 teams, 2-0 teams again. We'll go to the power rankings. Ryan is atop the power rankings and probably will be all season. His team is phenomenal. And like I mentioned, despite if he doesn't have injuries, I think he stays up top. And he's certainly my favorite to win the championship this year. Number 2, John, who's number 2 in the power rankings at 2-0? Oh, boy. John, it's a family show. Nelly's Nipples at number 2 at 2-0 in the power rankings. And surprisingly, at number 3, Punchy Pat, who's coming into the studio maybe next week. I've been traveling a lot with the NFL and getting to these games. I hope to have Pat in the studio next week, if not the following week, to talk about some of the allegations related to his potential CTE issues. Pat's
Mm.
going to come in. He's going to take some tests, and we're going to clear that all up. But Pat is third in the power rankings at 2-0. And
He
at fourth in the power rankings at 1-1 is your commissioner, Uncle Dave. Any thoughts on the power rankings? Last is
No, I mean that's pretty
here's what.
spot on.
Hmm.
That's pretty spot on. I don't really care about what's underneath that, to be honest. I know
Well,
Andrew is a
hmm
fraud. Mikey and Matt. I mean, Mikey doesn't look good, but you know you expect them to have a playoff push. Same with
Mikey and
Matthew.
UG are tied for last in the power rankings.
Right.
Tied for last at 0-2. David's also
Um.
0-2. He's had some tough
Yeah,
losses,
David.
but I think David's team is pretty good. He's just going to make some decisions. He panicked on Kenneth
He's
Walker.
he's not up for it. I don't think he's up for the
Well, he's got a
task.
lot going on. I think
And
he'll
I think
bounce back. He's
Christian
got to
is
be.
also overrated.
Christian's way overrated. He did win this week to get to 1-1. I will say about David's team, um, if he doesn't panic with Kenneth Walker, he might win week 2. I think David's team is good enough to maybe get to 500 and possibly a playoff appearance.
Right.
But we'll see if he stays out of trouble with the injuries.
But the problem is we're running into a situation where, you know, David's ceiling is 500, Christian's
Yep,
ceiling is 500, Uncle Gary's season is 4-10, or his ceiling is 4 and
yep.
10. Your ceiling is maybe 8-6. So
I'll take it.
we're running into a problem where the guys who have been here the longest, the core five, I don't want to use the term Super League, but a lot of the people who have come into
Yeah.
this league later than its inception just aren't up for it. It takes unfortunately, it takes 2 or 3 seasons to really know
Yeah.
how to play in this league
Well,
and
we'll
how to
see, won't
manage
we?
and how quick and
We'll see.
physical and mentally taxing it is. I mean, you've seen it with,
Yeah.
it's sometimes Uncle Gary, beating Schultze. It doesn't
Yeah.
correlate to
It
this league.
doesn't.
It's
It
clear as
doesn't
day.
correlate to this league. That's
Steven
obvious.
is moving
That's
millions of
obvious.
dollars around
Yep.
foreign markets, and he couldn't even understand the app.
No. No.
Um,
That's
Jack
obvious that
turned
he's
on his
he's over his
family.
head. Yeah.
Jack turned on his family, and I wish, if there was a vote right now, I know this show it doesn't need headlines to
Mm-hmm.
gain viewership, but I
Mm-hmm.
would like to make a headline right now. Can I make a headline?
Yeah.
If there was a vote to bring back Jack in and kick out Christian and or Uncle Gary, I'm voting yes on it 10 times out of 10.
Wow. Wow. Christian and Uncle
Because I
Gary.
think I just want to come to the defense of Jack, because there was plenty of times where, he might have had some sort of rage issues, and those
Mm-hmm.
were compounded by his cousin's lack of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Empathy.
Yeah, empathy, or just awareness in terms of hammering it in. That he didn't have a driver's license, and it led him to leave the league. And I honestly think that the league has been going down since that.
Are you saying if Jack had a driver's license, he'd still be in this league today?
No, well,
Oh,
yes.
yeah. Okay.
That's
Okay.
I didn't think you were gonna ask that, but yes. But I think if his cousins would have supported him and weren't afraid to express their love for him, and how
Yep.
much we love hanging
It
out with
means to
him,
have him in the league. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
the league isn't even a part of it. When's the last time Jack came over to play basketball?
Do you think him losing the 40-yard dash had anything to do with him leaving the league? Do you think that
Well,
had an impact?
Jack losing the 40-yard dash to Mike? Wait, I
Yes.
forget who won
Yeah.
that. Jack
He
lost
beat
it to Mike, but I think
Maddie and lost to
Jack beat
Mikey. He
Maddie.
beat Maddie. He
Right.
beat Maddie. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Okay. I was just wanting to check because it came in.
But
So John,
I think that, how
Yep.
many years ago was that?
It was quite a few, maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Because
Yeah.
I would say Maddie, he might have pulled a hamstring and it might have done some serious damage. That has allowed him to sit on the couch and eat hot dogs
And
every
put on
day
weight and put on weight. Yeah.
become a better owner.
He put on weight. He looks horrible, but he's a better owner
I'm not
for
going to
it.
comment on that.
Yep. I would I'm not going to disagree, but I'm going to leave it at that. He is my
We got
godson, so I
sidetracked.
don't
I'm
want to.
sorry. I went for the
That's
headline and we
okay.
got
It was a
sidetracked.
great
But
conversation.
moral of the
Last
story,
thing.
Dr. Sludge can eat it. Uncle Gary's done after this year. Bring back
Yep.
Jack. That's what
So
I'm
let's
going
get
to
to
vote
Uncle
on.
Gary real quick, and we talked about it in the last couple episodes. I'm trying to get him on. He's avoided coming to the studio, as we all know. If he loses the first 6 games, should he be out of the league, or should Gary Jr. take over his team?
You can't get rid of him mid season.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
Matthew has
That's fine.
gone 1-12 in a year. I'm not
Yeah,
comparing
but
them, but I'm
Matty
just
has
saying, like,
history. He said
I know,
Matty's
but
engaged, and
you know that Uncle Gary's not going to turn it around the next year because he won't have another
no,
year. But you have to be
no.
you have to be the owner for the entire year.
And let me give you this scenario, and I've given it in some different ways. So 10 being he scores phenomenally, 1 being they put him in a home. How does Uncle Gary score in the Wonderlic test?
I mean, Uncle Gary, I think it's not overall mental aptitude because I
So
agree with
it's
Uncle Gary on a
intelligence.
lot of
You think it's
things.
intelligence as well? Yeah.
I think it's just the fantasy football world has passed him by, and that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it's passing me
So
by too. You said
yeah.
what was the guy's name? I'll go on the record and say the
I,
guy that you got hurt was it McInerney or the guy somebody trade for?
Christian McCaffrey.
No, no.
No. McConkey.
One of the guys that
McConkey.
Mikey got in the trade, I had no idea
Mc,
who he is, what team he plays
uh,
for. I
that's
didn't know
fine.
Lad McConkey was a player until this year. So
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's fine. But it's
I
not
would
about
urge
you,
Uncle
right? So
Gary to
you're
have
telling
the
me,
aptitude to work for him,
yep.
like it
So you're
does
telling
me.
me Uncle Gary does not do well in the Wonderlic test, is what you're telling me.
That's not no, that's not what I said. I'm saying his mental fortitude
So
doesn't.
kind of what you said.
Well, I mean, what other person can stay awake, engaged all night on an Uber ride when every guy is creepy that you're picking up or things
Yeah.
like that? So
Yeah.
that takes a lot of mental toughness, and I'm gonna back Uncle Gary, not in terms of
Yep.
fantasy football, especially in the modern era.
Yep.
Um, but I don't. I think he would do better than his sons on a Wonderlic.
Okay.
Because I'm
Um.
gonna quote Mikey. I'm gonna quote Mikey. Favorite city in Europe, Italy. So
Clearly, you've watched the show. So let's
I'm a
go, John.
huge fan of the show.
Yep, let's go to week 3, and I'll start with you. And this is an alarming. So you're 2-0, John. Your team looks good, and I think you know who you play week 3, right?
Yeah, I play Ryan.
Yep. So projected right now, if you don't make any changes to your lineup, you're at 38%. Ryan's projected for 355. You're projected 319. Any thoughts on that?
Um, yeah, that I mean, seeing that like you're off a good week. I think I scored 313 last week, so you know,
Yep.
and I only had 30 from Josh Allen and Drake London didn't play well either.
Yep.
Um,
So
but yeah, I
what do
mean,
you
being
what
at
do you think? You think
38%
you
on
can? Yeah.
being at 38% on a what is it Tuesday night is
Yeah.
never fun,
Yep.
but that can change really
You
quickly.
can make some moves. Yeah.
And I
So
think,
let's.
uh,
Yep. We're
what do you
we're
think I
running
should do?
late,
What do you
so
think I should do?
I'm not going to get into the picks. I just wanted to give you your thoughts, let you know who you're playing. But I honestly think the biggest game of the year and a must win. David plays Mikey. They're both 0-2. And right now it's
Mm,
basically a coin toss, right? Mikey's at 54%, but David has to take out Jaden Daniels, who's questionable, if he doesn't play.
yeah,
So,
that's tough.
I mean, that's a huge game. Who wins that game? Who do you think wins that game?
I'd have to look. I mean, Mikey's just got some new fresh faces in the locker room. I don't know if it
Yeah.
makes his team any
Yeah.
better because I don't know who he got in the trade.
Yeah.
Um, but whoever loses that game is pretty much not in the
It's
playoffs.
over. Could be over, yeah. Now next
So,
one
and
is
I think
is
if
a
it's David,
is
he's screwed
yeah,
because
maybe.
he doesn't.
Um
Mikey has what it takes to be 1-2 and still pushing.
Still
David
dangerous,
is
yeah.
it's good instead.
Yep. So Andrew's going to go to 2-1, and Uncle Gary's going to drop to 0-3. They play each other. I think that's a given. Um,
Right.
Omari Hampton for Andrew's been horrible. He still has him in the lineup, so hopefully he changes that. But Achin came alive. Chase came alive. He made some changes, so he's going to go to 2-1. It's not something we need to spend much time on. Now here's a big game at 1-1. I play Christian. Right now I'm at 53%,
Mm.
so it's a coin toss. It's a really good game. Um, so we'll see. Drake May has to go to Pittsburgh to play, which is a tough ask. So it should be interesting. And then Maddie, it's a good one. Maddie's at 1-1. Pat is at 2-0. Right now, it's basically a coin toss. Who wins that one, Maddie or Pat?
Who was well, I mean, Pat won last
It's
week without.
309 to 302 right now, projected Maddie to win, but that's basically that's one play basically.
I mean, that's a snooze fest.
Yeah,
Um,
big game though
I'm gonna
for
have to
Maddie.
back Pat.
Maddie, I
He's
don't think
got
Maddie's
the
ever
hot
been
hand.
1-2. Pat,
Well,
you
he
think
went
Pat's
one
going
and
to win
12.
that? Yeah, he did, but that was one season. All right, so we have
I
we
think
have
I
you
think Pat
beating.
wins that game just to get back at Maddie for picking Uncle Gary ahead of me. So I'm gonna have to back Pat on that one
So
because this
Pat
is a
goes
big
to
year for
three and
Pat. Him and
zero.
I,
Yeah,
him and I are the two members. You know, I would say more so myself because I don't think Pat has ever made it to a semifinal, let alone a couple of championships.
yeah,
You know, I was a clear sunny night away from being a champion, or a
yeah,
Thursday night blunder away from being a champion.
yeah, yeah.
But
And
Pat and
John,
I are
you're
still in
yeah,
the same boat.
you're ninth in the waiver order. Any moves you're going to make, or are you just letting that team ride it out for the next week at least?
I mean, I got that other guy, those two guys that you said. I think one's a receiver, one's a running back.
Hmm.
They were ranked pretty high,
The other guy I
and I'll
said,
probably
you don't know
check.
the teams, you don't know the players that you got, Joe. This is what we're dealing with.
Tillman, and
Trey Benson.
yeah, but
Okay.
he's on Arizona, so I don't know if I'll play him or James Conner. But I mean, I'll check the waiver wire.
Yeah.
Probably on
Okay. So you're still active though.
Friday or Saturday. I mean, I'll be checking it, see what happens. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I think those were my two moves, and I'm gonna rock with my same team.
Okay.
Maybe I'll put in Raheem Shaheed.
Yeah. Okay.
He did
Anything
well
else,
last
John?
week.
We're at almost 50 minutes in the podcast. Any other comments you want to make for week 3? Any general statements? Any shout outs?
Well, I mean, shout out this league, shout out this podcast. I
Hmm.
will say Matthew needs to get better at his co-hosting.
I know.
Because he's got
I
the
know.
knowledge and he's got the draw,
You can't
and
hear him.
what
He
he
doesn't
says
enunciate.
what he
Yeah.
says gets a lot of viewers, but I think
Yeah.
he's too much talking to the side. I've had some trouble listening to him. The studio's great. I hope to
Yeah.
be in there one day. Would love to see Pat on the pod. I
Yep.
don't think
He
Uncle
will be.
Gary. That'll be I don't know how that's
I've
gonna go if he's
I've
on the
tried.
podcast. I think he might start yelling.
He might. Well, we'll bleep him out, or we just won't air it if it gets bad. So,
I think
but
week 3.
yeah,
I mean, I love my team. Being 2-0 is just great because you could lose the next 2 weeks and still be okay.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
just a great feeling.
yeah. I
Not
agree.
that
Yeah.
this is like the end all be all in terms of my
Yep.
mood, but being 2-0 is just significantly better than being 0-2. And I think I'm just gonna have to back myself. I think this is the year that the nipples finally get pierced.
Wow.
And
Okay. And will you pierce your nipple if you win the championship?
I will get a Nelly tattoo.
Okay. There you go. There you go. You heard it here, folks. If
I
Johnny
think a
wins, if
pierced nipple would
Nellie's
be too much.
nipples, yeah, I would agree with that. If Nellie's nipples win the championship, we will get a Nelly nipple tattoo. So it's something to look forward to. So what you're telling me, John, is Mikey goes to 0-3, Uncle Gary goes to 0-3, Pat goes to 3-0, and you go to 3-0. Right?
Yeah, I think
Amazing.
Lamar has a lesser week, and I think Ryan comes down to earth a little bit. Um,
Yep.
but I think it's gonna be close. I want to say I'll probably win by 10 or 15 points. It's gonna be a close one
Okay.
again.
If you beat Ryan, then it's a statement. I mean, that's a statement. His team is
Right.
just stacked. So, John, thanks for joining the show. We ran a little longer than I had anticipated, but we had a lot to cover.
Flew by.
And John, we'd love to have you back when we're in the studio back in New Jersey. But that's going to be a few weeks out. Daddy's got some traveling to do. But I'll be back in the studio I guess next weekend, not this weekend coming up, but the following
Nice.
weekend, we'll be back at the home studio, and maybe we can have Pat and Uncle Gary in the studio. So, anything else, John, for the world, for the country? Right. International. I like it. Oh, ciao bello. Ciao bello. Yep. I'm sure you will be. Well, Godspeed, John. Love you. Welcome to the show. Great to have you. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. I love you. Have a great night, Johnny. Thanks for joining. Love you.